one grain of rice, one seed of rice produced all of this. Because what we did was that we broadcast rice in all our farms, because the labor that will be required to do transplanting is just impossible. And we haven't yet got the technology that would enable us to do large fields under mechanized process. Now, what is fascinating about this is, I counted this. There are 46 branches. Let me not use the technical term. They call it tillering. When it forms into branches, the experts call it tillering. I call them branches. If one single grain of rice could produce this, there are about 46 or is it 48 I counted, one stand alone. Why is this important? Because the holy grail is the attainment of 5 to 6 metric tons of rice per hectare. Now, the personal experiments I've been conducting shows me that unless you have this, because after the tillering, each one produces what they call panicles. This is it. Until one branch, again, let me talk in conventional language. If one branch could give us something as large as this, a cluster of one panicle has to be this large. That is the only point at which we produce 5, 6, or even 7 metric tons per hectare of land. And that is a very challenging achievement to attain, particularly in upland, because effectively what we have here is upland. But what is also very tragic is that the body of literature on rice production, particularly from Nigerian agriculturists, is so poor, is so incredibly technical and academic. I think it's something they do for projects in the universities, and at the end of it, it does not translate to the field. So we came here, we just selected a small portion of land here. And if you take a look at it, all of this, going as far as the eye can see, we're experimenting to see if we can attain that holy grail of 5, 6, 7 metric tons per ton. To achieve that in upland is a great ask. Now, I have a rice field somewhere in Ikwo where I think we can actually hit 6 metric tons. But that is a very small portion of land. To do it in a large commercial scale is the key. If we can produce that cluster from one branch of rice, you're on your way. So we see how that goes. This holds a lot of promise, but I think this is on its way to being maybe 4 metric tons or thereabouts. There are patches, but of course right now we are challenged by the sudden end to the rainy season. We have not had rain now for about 7 days, and today is the 28th of October, and the anxiety is building because very soon now we'll hit the Harmattan. But of course, all hope is not lost in those circumstances, because another great help from nature is that it brings us what is called dew. 2 days ago there was so much dew, the precipitation, the concentration of the precipitation in the atmosphere was so heavy, it eventually descended like scattered rainfalls, the showers, a little bit. So with that, once the rice is at this stage, you can actually hope that it will use that to complete its cycle of, yielding, maturing, and hopefully giving us proper solid grains and not chaffs. Those are the experiments we're doing here. But you see, what is heartbreaking about it is this. The infrastructure for irrigation is another area that the government of Nigeria should give a priority. Identify serious-minded people, each of them with 1,000, 2,000 hectares of land. This land, there's no reason why we cannot farm here 3 times a year, so that it becomes a little less important whether you are able to attain 6, 7 metric tons a year, than that you constantly churn out the produce. That is doable. I keep emphasizing the point that east of the Niger, the largest body of water, apart from the Niger itself, is Cross River. On the bank of the Cross River, you could feed the entire southern Nigeria, and this is no exaggeration, with rice, or vegetables, or cocoyam, or potatoes, or tomatoes. You could do all of that. It's an extraordinary natural resource. Lying waste has lain waste since eternity. That shouldn't be. We have well over 3,000 hectares of land here, not all of it under rice cultivation. In fact, not all of it under cultivation of any kind. But if you just take 1,000 and take forward, extend our experimentation to see what is possible in this wonderful place. Because with a passion, just try and see what rice is doing here. Just, man, you stay there. Just see if you can zoom in and get me. This cluster here, there's no reason why, assuming this cluster is replicated across the field, there's absolutely no reason why we cannot have over 5 metric tons. And then all of that. This section of land, we have 30 hectares of land where we have subjected the experimentation of attaining 5 to 6 metric tons. It's coming up. It's coming up. Each stand of rice here is between 40 to 50 branches. The tillers. Very impressive. And yet, another great challenge is we had to broadcast rice here 3 times. The first round did not germinate. Second round did not germinate. And when I'm talking about pouring rice, we're pouring millions of naira. Hundreds of bags of rice did not germinate. Hence, we've just come from the field where we now are approaching the period of harvest. The same period. All of this started at the same period. And yet, here is just tillering. That place is ready for harvest. We need certified, or when I say certified, scientifically, objectively, honestly and truthfully certified rice seeds. Okay.